Alright there guys, LaserBeast here. I hope you're doing well today, and this is going to be the last episode of the Journey to Longboi series. And I'm sort of giving up, not entirely, but you know, I don't think I'm going to make it at this point because I simply do not have enough time. So what I wanted to do was wrap up this series and give you a few little pointers of things, little tips I've made along the way, and just kind of summarise those in one video to pass on something useful, because I thought there's no point in keeping the series going because there's not going to be anything new, there's not going to be anything valuable that I'm going to be able to bring to you guys and give you any, you know, kind of tips or advice or anything. So what's the point in keeping it going if it's just going to be pointless content? So I'm summarising about 5 tips of things I've learned along this journey so far, and hopefully you will find them useful, and it's just like a good little check-in sort of thing to see if you're doing these things, and there we go. So hopefully you'll find it useful. So tips, what have I learned along this journey? So number 1, solid advice is loot everything. Now this is made much easier by having an add-on such as faster loot, so you don't even need to think about, you know, clicking and waiting for the loot window to load. It's just slow. If you have faster loot, you know, just install it, turn auto loot on, and just forget about it. Loot everything. Now if you don't loot everything, you're literally just throwing away gold that's at your fingertips. Like when you're killing stuff or whatever, if you're not looting it, it's just like, I don't know, it's like walking past the £5 note on the floor and just leaving it there. You just loot everything. Now, this includes things like nodes, like don't miss nodes. We're all guilty of flying over nodes when you want to get to that world quest and you just ignore something, but, you know, you could miss out on like 1,000 gold on the way there just from farming, like, you know, 20 different nodes along the way. You just never know. Now, do this all the time, like, so even when you're like doing things like leveling alts, it's so worth it to pick up herbalism and mining, and just mine and herb as you go along, as you're questing through every single zone, because all the old world mats are still, you know, still can be profitable. Obviously if you're picking them up, it's just nothing to gold. So so to take those, they do still sell for various reasons, probably slower than current world mats, but yeah, they still sell, and you can make, you know, a few thousand gold just from leveling up. It's literally just free gold lying around there, so it's win-win, and you also get XP from picking up herbs and the mining, so it's win-win. The second tip is prepare yourself. So obviously they say fail to prepare, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. That's the one. Got to get that one right. So get the necessary add-ons and they'll help keep you on the right path. So TSM, obviously, just learn the basics. That's all you need to do. You don't need to learn fancy formulas and all that kind of stuff. Even if you just install TSM, even if you don't actually use it for the auction house, just use it for the tooltips. Super helpful. Just get to understand what each bit on the tooltip means, you know, DB, region, market, average buyout, and all that business. Just watch a video from Samadam. I'll link some guides down below from him, and you'll be able to understand what that means. And it's just going to give you that, you know, that snap decision when you pick up something. It could be like a grey hat, for example, and you might be thinking, well, no one's going to buy that, it's junk. But somebody might buy that for 1,000 gold on the auction house for some kind of transmog, especially if you're on like a role-playing server. That might be more valuable. So don't underestimate, you know, items. There's usually always a buyer for something, and it's helpful on TSM to have a look at the rate of how things sell. If something's like 0.01, you know it's probably not going to sell, if not for a long time. So you might just be worth vendoring that. But if something's got a decent sell rate, then sell it. You know, try it on the auction house for a few times. If it doesn't sell, get rid of it. There's not much to lose, really. If you do put more time into TSM, this is all, again, preparing yourself. If you set up some groups and things, and you set up some auction house posting operations, then you can save so much time. And time is money. As the goblins say, time is efficiency, and I'm all about the efficiency. So yeah, just learn the basics and just go steady with it. Add-ons like Loot Appraiser, so if you're anyone that farms at all, or if you want to do some farming, if you're new to it, then download Loot Appraiser. Another add-on called Worth It. So Loot Appraiser, if you're doing like a raw gold farm, you just turn this add-on on, and if you get a, you know, like a green transmog item, it'll tell you how much it's worth, like on average, and also Worth It. So if you want to set out to farm but you're not sure what to farm, that'll look at the prices of things on your realm specifically, and it'll tell you how good each farm is, and you'll be able to import the routes and stuff for the farms if you've got Farm HUD active and routes installed. All different add-ons. I'll link these all down in the description. Another tip is to at least just have a bank character. You don't need to go as extravagant as making yourself a whole banking guild. Obviously, if you've got tons and tons of items, loads of transmog or loads of mats and stuff like that, then make yourself a guild. It's cheap to do. It's just a bit of a faff to get people to sign your charter. It could be, it could not be, depending on your realm. But once you've got your guild sorted, you know, a little investment of putting some money into to stock your bank and all that business. But once that's done, you've got that then for life. You know, you can just send everything over to one bank character and get them to do all the posting, so that it keeps your mains, your main character's bags clear, and you can just send everything over to your bank character and then post things all in once. You can log in first thing in the morning, post everything on, and then, you know, just check on it like once a day or something, you know, or every other day, whatever you want, however casual you want to be with your goal making. It just keeps things efficient and clean. So get yourself a bank character, definitely recommend it. Tip number 4 is to bear in mind that gold is everywhere. Like there's hundreds of ways to make gold, and yet there's more efficient ways than others. But remember that it's good to diversify with things. So you could just farm the most efficient farm. You know, you could get 20 Vial of the Sands mounts, but they're not all going to sell. You know, you're not going to sell 20 Vial of the Sands in a week. You know what I mean? You might do, but it's very, very unlikely. So it might be better to get yourself 2 Vial of the Sands and then make some engineering mounts. This is just speaking if mounts are your thing. Obviously, you could do battle pets. Don't just farm like the most expensive battle pets. Get a good range of battle pets, you know, because you're going to get more sales in a shorter period of time. What I did personally is try a bit of everything. I've got a few battle pets on there. I've got transmog. I've got stuff from about 6 different professions on there, and you know, you get sales every now and then from each of the different ones. Like there's not one thing that's been the best for me. And if I was to farm like for example contracts, when I was learning inscription, I had to make a lot of contracts to level up, and I've probably sold 2 of them. I've still got like 40 in my bags, and they've been on there for 2 weeks. So I've not been, you know, the most ruthless with cancel scan and all that business. That's not my jam. So yeah, it pays to have a variety of things. So do what you enjoy. Don't just do, oh, this is the most efficient farm, I have to do this 24 hours a day. Not a good idea. Don't recommend it. If you want to take the time to learn a specific market, then that's great. If that's what you enjoy doing, then I do recommend doing that, because some people have great success, you know, just doing alchemy or just doing battle pets or just transmog. So if you want to really get into the nitty gritty of things, then that's absolutely fine. Just do what you enjoy is all I'm saying. Gold is everywhere. And the last sort of tip, this is both in-game and out of game, is stay current. So be aware of what's going on. Like first of all, the best thing you can do, if you're going to be crafting or anything at all, don't do what I did and leave crafting until the end of the expansion, because it's gonna be difficult, you know, across all your alts that don't have reps and things, to catch up and get your professions ranked up to max to actually start making some gold. So like what I'm going to do when Shadowlands comes out is focus on that first. Get everybody leveled up, get all the professions leveled up to as high as they can go at the time, and get some steady, you know, crafting things, get some gold flowing in right from the get-go. Like now, at the end of BFA, it's a bit too late, to be honest. So that's getting yourself set up in-game, if you're going to do professions, but think about outside of the game as well. So, you know, make use of the WoW economy subreddit. Now, this has been somewhere where I've gained lots of tips and advice from. I've asked a couple of questions on there. People are super helpful. Yep, obviously goblins can be greedy. You know, everyone's out there trying to make money. They don't necessarily want to share the tips, but you'll be surprised. There are a lot of people that do. So it's somewhere worth checking in each day. If you use Reddit, highly recommend it. And be mindful of things like events that are going on in the game, such as like if there's a holiday coming up, like there might be certain items that you can sell that are only really valuable at that time, so you could farm them up. And this can also be on the flip side. There might be something you can get from one event, which is then going to become incredibly rare when the event's off, if the event only happens once a year. I can't think of any specific examples here, but I will go into some about the time walking stuff in a second. So yeah, you could buy, like, this isn't a good example, but snowballs, for, you know, as a random example, snowballs. So they might only be around in winter, like Christmas season, but then somebody might want to just randomly buy some snowballs in the summer. So if you've got some there, you know, you can keep an eye on if they're selling it or not, and you can sell some, or you can just keep them posted. It should be relatively cheap. That's a bit of a rubbish example, but that's the kind of idea I'm getting at. A decent example is an event like time walking. So now it's changed where when the time walking week is up, say it's Burning Crusade time walking, you get 50% more rep from kills and quests. So if there's like a quest turning, say for example like the old city quest where you're turning a bunch of cloth to get rep, then you could farm up that cloth or buy the cloth cheap when it's not like Burning, you know, say the Burning Crusade week, and then when that week comes around, if you sell your mats, if you dump them all in the auction house, you're likely to get a lot of people that don't have much time that want to just buy up the cloth quick, you know, and turn that in for rep while they've got this 50% bonus. There's many different examples of that, and people are still trying to work out what the best things are to sell. There's also things like if you're getting the time walking badges, you can turn them in for pets, and you can sell the pets, just stuff like that. So it pays to stay current, and things like the WoW Economy subreddit, and if you're on Wowhead as well, Samadam does a nice WoW Economy weekly wrap-up thing. It's always good to stay in the loop. It's like just as like somebody in real life that's into stocks and shares would read the newspaper each day, or you know, go on websites that help them keep current. Do the same for Warcraft. It is an economy at the end of the day. So there we go. That is a few little like sort of tips I've learned to wrap up this journey. How far did I get? I know you're probably wondering how far I got with the gold making. I got just below 300,000 gold. Honestly, I didn't do very well, but it turned out I learned quite a bit. I learned a lot from it, and what's changed is I got the gold, but I managed to keep the gold. I haven't got the gold and spent the gold, and I will still do some gold making in my spare time, but that's the issue for me. And probably like many of you, you know, I've got a child, family, I've got a job that I work a lot of hours in. I simply just don't have the time to put into farming. When I'm gaming, I want to do something I enjoy, you know, so I've done a bit of farming for the purpose of this series. Obviously done some farming, and it's been fine, but obviously there's times I've even wanted to play a bit of Warcraft Classic lately and stuff like that, so I haven't had the time to just put purely into gold making. I'm sure there's a lot of you that are in that situation, and that's why I've said in the past couple of videos, if you've got the time to do things like the raw gold farms, which are great, you know, then this is perfectly doable if you want to go and get your Longboi. But if you don't have the time, like me, it's just kind of tough, you know. Gonna have to try and maybe hope to get the gold cap and get it on the black market auction house when it comes out on in Shadowlands. But yeah, there we go, guys. So I hope you're doing well on your journey. This is the end of mine. I'm gonna chip away. Maybe I'll just try and make like 1 million gold before Shadowlands or something. It'll be an improvement on where I came from anyway. So there we go. So thanks for watching, guys. I've been Lazy Beast. I'll catch you next time. Take care.